Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody have some great breakfast?
Yes.
Yes.
They're good cafecito con leche?
Oh, yes.
All right. So my name is Gabriela Benitez. I'm the Domestic Worker Program Coordinator at Latino Union within the Chicago Coalition of Household Workers, which is a project of Latino Union. And I just wanted to follow up with what Maria was sharing. The reason why this is important to me, we know it affects a lot of Latinas. My mother is a domestic worker, and she's been a domestic worker for over a decade now. And although when we first arrived to the U.S., she started working for factories, the overtime and just the double shifts became a situation where we rarely saw my mom and my dad at home. So at one point, we didn't see her. We only saw her when we woke up before going to school. And she saw how it was affecting us, and she felt really guilty. So she decided to leave the factory work and decided to start cleaning homes. And the reason why she decided to start cleaning houses was because that was the opportunity for her to be able to be with her children. And she started with one house, and then two, and then three. But she also started coming to more of our school events, and we started seeing our mom a lot more. And now that she's been cleaning houses for over a decade, she has grown up to see these families that she's been working for over a decade. I myself was working with her when I was on my vacations and on summer and fall breaks and winter breaks. I myself was also a babysitter to those families and saw the children from being 2 months old to now being 8 years old. So domestic work is also, it's definitely, as what we call it, an act of love. It's not just an act of labor. You grow up with these families, you connect with these families. Now I do want to recognize that my mom, despite the many years that she's been working, you can see that physical strain on her, the fact that she is cleaning bathroom floors on her knees, how that's affected her knees and how that's affected just her overall physical health and not being able to have health insurance, not being able to take care of herself. So it definitely has affected her physically in a tremendous way. I do want to say, though, that throughout the work that we've been doing, we have heard the stories of many women who have lived in very unjust situations of not being paid for this work of love and labor, of not being recognized for this act of love and labor. And this report actually comes on the heels of a very historic victory that we've seen very recently with the Department of Labor regulations that are now including home care workers, those individuals who care for our most loved family members, for our elderly members, and that have really, when we have to go to work, are there with our abuelitos and are there with those who are ill, and are now being included across the nation to be protected. Now, we also recognize that this is only one portion of the workforce, but it is definitely a big step towards a victory. Another exciting thing that has come along with this report has been with our sisters in California, who just recently seen the passage of the California Bill of Rights of domestic workers. And this Bill of Rights is a movement that we have been seeing, and it's a national movement along with the National Domestic Workers Alliance. And with New York being the first state that passes a domestic workers Bill of Rights, to Hawaii, and now California really puts on the pressure for the rest of the other states that are also in this fight, Illinois being one of those states. So we hope that you read the report and you see what this Bill of Rights here in Illinois would do. One of them is the right to be paid no less than the Illinois minimum wage, the right to be paid for all work hours, the right to at least 1 day off a week, the right to meal and rest periods, the right to be paid time off, and the right to be free from sexual harassment. These are rights that currently domestic workers do not have. These are rights that throughout history domestic workers have been excluded from for now over 75 years. And these are the rights that we have been fighting for at a national level, and that we are really struggling here in our campaign here in our state. So we hope that you are involved in this movement, and that we hope that you help domestic workers speak out and really push for change in our state. Also, especially because the need and the regulations and protections for this workforce need to be in our backyard, in our own backyard, right? Abuses of not being paid or being stolen, of being not paid for all full wages, or especially for women who are being told, oh, just stay a couple of more hours and clean this up, or for those who live in those homes and that are unable to actually have sleep, for those who are working in the hours of the night, and for those who are suffering through sexual violence. A lot of these women are in isolation, are unable to really report this because of fear, and Maria explained all of that. And these are conditions that women are living in our own backyard, and we need to make sure that we change. And through that, the Chicago Coalition of Household Workers and Latino Union are making that happen. And we hope that Mujeres Latinas en Acción can also join us in the future as we continue on with this work. But we truly believe in building base through empowerment and through the leadership of those directly affected. So for domestic workers to speak about the injustices that they go through, for domestic workers to shine the light on the issue and make a change in the issue. For domestic workers, it's about gaining recognition, gaining respect. Many times we tend to not think about the people who clean after us, even in this hotel, at our schools, at our homes. What makes our life function? And as we call it, this is a work that makes all work possible. And these women are really calling out to be respected from our community and from our families, but also by the laws on the books. Because as we are putting these women in a place that is making our work function, how come are they not protected under the laws? Without domestic workers, the city of the big shoulders would be on its knees. Thank you very much.